Hello everyone. Today we are going to be going into deep lore about our favorite killer bear, Freddy Fazbear. But you can't start a legend until you know its origins. So let's go back in time to the release of Five Nights at Freddy's. I'm FNAF Central, and I present to you the history of Freddy Fazbear. Back in 2014, a small indie game creator named Scott Cawthon would publish a game called Five Nights at Freddy's, an indie horror game that would be Scott's last effort to save his career as a game developer. In the first game, Scott would go on to create 5 animatronics for the first game, and one of them is our main character, Freddy Fazbear. Freddy is an animatronic bear who is the star attraction of the pizzeria. After some time, one of the restaurant's owners, William Afton, would lure children into the parts and service room and murder them. With no other place to hide the bodies, he hid them inside of the animatronic suits. One of the kids who he killed was named Gabriel, who would go on to profess Freddy Fazbear. Freddy is seen as a brown bear with a black bow tie and a black top hat, and his iconic microphone. During the daytime, Freddy acts as a normal animatronic should act, but once the clock hits 12, Freddy goes into kill mode. He will try his best to get into your office through the right side of the office. Freddy's lost soul thinks that the night guard is the one who killed him and stuffed his body into that suit. So Freddy goes on a mission to kill the night guard, although the night guard is not William, but rather his son, Michael Afton. Weirdly enough, Freddy is the least aggressive animatronic up until the later nights, with showing no signs of a movement up until night 3. Freddy's the smartest out of the 4 animatronics due to the reason that he prefers to hide in the shadows when hunting for the night guard. You can only vaguely see his glowing eyes in the darkness in a few cameras. If the night guard is to run out of power, all the other animatronics will deactivate, but not Freddy. Freddy will come to the left side door and peek his head in while singing his lullaby. Here is the lullaby now. The power will then go out, and then Freddy will walk into the office and kill you. Something really interesting about Freddy Fazbear is he is the only one in the entire game to have 2 jump scares. One of his jump scares is right after the power goes out, and then the other jump scare is if you let him into your office during the game, then he kills you by coming in through the right side door. That's about everything for Five Nights at Freddy's 1 Freddy. Now, let's go to Five Nights at Freddy's 2. This time, there are 2 Freddys, and both are out to kill you.
London Bridge is falling down, falling down, falling down. London Bridge is falling down, my fair lady.
Hello. Well, if you're hearing this, then chances are you've made a very poor career choice.
Five Nights at Freddy's 2, the spark of a new era. In Five Nights at Freddy's 2, we are introduced to a variety of new characters, but the one we're going to be focusing on today is Toy Freddy. Toy Freddy is depicted as the same as original Freddy, but this time he is shown to be more kid-friendly and much more shiny. He looks a lot bigger than the original Freddy does. He has glassy eyes and a big smile on his face. But it's the same story as original Freddy. Toy Freddy was another victim of William Afton's murders. Toy Freddy has a soul inside him. It is never said who the child was, but we know it involved Afton and his killings. Toy Freddy doesn't act like original Freddy at all. This time, he comes off the stage as early as night 2, and comes into the front of your office hallway and slowly approaches you until he gets into your office. It is seen that Toy Freddy has removed his eyes to make himself look more scary because the original self was not gonna cut it. Toy Freddy doesn't do anything like the original. He doesn't have a power outage song. He doesn't have 2 jump scares. He isn't smarter than the others. He is sort of just a regular animatronic. Toy Freddy does have the least amount of cameras he has to be before he gets into your office though, than any animatronic, which helps Toy Freddy with danger points. Once Toy Freddy is in the hall, he will slowly make his way into your office. Once he is in, you must throw down your Freddy mask to make him go away. This is about all we have on Toy Freddy, so now we move on to his old self, who is broken, angry, and a lot more scary. Withered Freddy, original but broken. All the old animatronics were scrapped after the pizzeria shut down, and then they were sent to the new location for scraps. They stored the animatronics, including Freddy, in the back closet, which is the parts and service room. Here, you can see Bonnie, Chica, and Freddy all laying on the floor. And same as the first game, Freddy is the last one up. This Freddy is the same as Toy Freddy. He will appear in the hallway in front of you and make his way into your office. He has the same mechanics as Toy Freddy, besides the camera part. Freddy will go to a variety of cameras and look into the cameras at you before he gets into the hallway, which is his final stop. Once Freddy is in your office, you must throw down your Freddy mask to confuse him and then ultimately making him leave the office. This Freddy is much cooler than Toy Freddy, but sadly has the same mechanics, so there won't be much information given. That's about all the information I can give you about Five Nights at Freddy's 2 Freddys. Now, we are on to Five Nights at Freddy's 3. Five Nights at Freddy's 3, the most controversial game in the franchise. In this game, we only see one Freddy, and it's not real. It's Phantom Freddy. Phantom Freddy only appears in the front office outside of it. He can be seen walking down the hallway. The only way to avoid him is just not look at him. If you do not look at Freddy, he will not jump scare you. The cool thing about this Freddy is that he is not able to kill you. Even if he jump scares you, he is unable to kill you. So there is no need to worry about that. And this goes for all the Phantoms. Freddy, if he jump scares you, he can only jump scare you once per night. So that is very useful. As you could see, Phantom Freddy has a lot of burns on him. He looks yellowish and has bright white eyes. This can probably easily be depicted as a hallucination. Plus, you can't have the same hallucination twice, which is why when you get jump scared by one of the Phantom animatronics, they can't jump scare you again. This is about it we have for Phantom Freddy. He appears very briefly in the entire game, and then you can only see him once per night. And that is about it for Five Nights at Freddy's 3. Now, we are on to the scariest game in the franchise, Five Nights at Freddy's 4. Five Nights at Freddy's 4, the most terrifying game of the entire series. In this game, we see Nightmare Freddy, an animatronic of terror. Nightmare Freddy appears on the bed right behind you in the starting room inside your bedroom. All you have to do to get rid of Nightmare Freddy is shine your flashlight at his little Freddles every single time they appear on the bed, just so the real Freddy doesn't emerge. Nightmare Freddy can be seen with teeth the size of arms inside of his mouth and under his stomach. Nightmare Freddy is not the only one with these kinds of features. Animatronics such as Nightmare and Nightmare Fredbear also have these teeth in their stomachs and on their mouths. Nightmare Freddy is one of the easiest animatronics to dodge in Five Nights at Freddy's 4, not counting Bonnie and Chica. The only thing you have to worry about is when you're getting off task in the game and checking the left and right door too much, as well as the closet, and forgetting about Freddy. This is Nightmare Freddy's Jumpscare. As you can see, Nightmare Freddy is a very disturbing and scary animatronic, and definitely a force to be reckoned with when you play Five Nights at Freddy's 4. Now, this is not the only game Nightmare Freddy appears in. He also appears in Ultimate Custom Night, but we aren't talking about any of the Freddys from Ultimate Custom Night, since they are in their own respective games. That's about it for Nightmare Freddy. He is one of my favorite Freddys personally, and he gave me nightmares when I was younger. But now, as I look at him, he's a very, very well-made character. Very, very good design, and a hell of a lot scarier than the original. Alright, now we're on to Five Nights at Freddy's 5, Sister Location. Five Nights at Freddy's Sister Location. A new era, once again. And this is the very first game in any Five Nights at Freddy's game that has had voice acting for the animatronics. Now, we are going to be talking about Funtime Freddy in this one. In this game, Funtime Freddy dons his classic microphone, his classic top hat, and his classic bow tie. But this time, he has something a lot different than the previous games. Now, Funtime Freddy has a little friend on his right arm, and they call him Bon Bon. It's a little miniature Bonnie that is now made into a hand puppet that Freddy wears all around him. Freddy has his own little sections throughout the games, especially the ones like the breaker room and the parts and service room where you have to send him off to the scooper after you repair him. Freddy is seen to be a very aggressive animatronic all throughout the game. Especially, you can see this in the breaker room, where you have to use the Bonnie hand puppet and its audio to get Freddy to calm down after he thinks he sees us when we are trying to repair breakers in the room. Funtime Freddy was killed at the end of Sister Location by the scooper, and then he crawled his way into Michael Afton, and then once Michael Afton's body rotted away, he crawled out and became Molten Freddy. Molten Freddy is in Five Nights at Freddy's 6, which is where we will be moving on next, since there's not much to talk about for Funtime Freddy today. That's about it. Funtime Freddy is one of the only animatronics in the entire series to have a voice line. Him, Ballora, and Baby. Those are the only ones that can speak throughout the 5th game. Funtime Freddy is also one of my favorite iterations of Freddy. He's really cool. He's white, he has pink on him, he's made kind of girly, but it's okay, because this is more futuristic looking. Anyways, that's about it. That's about all we know about Funtime Freddy. Now we're on to the final Five Nights at Freddy's game. Five Nights at Freddy's 6, Pizzeria Simulator.
Connection terminated. I'm sorry to interrupt you, Elizabeth, if you still even remember that name. But I'm afraid you've been misinformed. You are not here to receive a gift.
This will be the last Freddy we are talking about on this list today. We will not be including Lefty or Rockstar Freddy. We are not including Rockstar Freddy because he does not attack us, and we are not including Lefty because there is no Freddy in the title. Molten Freddy is really annoying. I mean, like, when he's in your vent, he will start laughing, so at least that's good. He will give you an indication on when he's there. But sometimes he won't, and sometimes you'll be expecting the laughter, but you won't hear it, so you won't be thinking of it. Molten Freddy is a mangled version of Funtime Freddy. As you can see Funtime Freddy's endoskeleton and his head and his top hat. The wires that are behind Funtime Freddy are basically his endoskeleton. He has no feet or hands. The only way he can get around is slither around like a snake. This is why he can only be in the vents, especially in Ultimate Custom Night and in Five Nights at Freddy's 6. Molten Freddy is one of many enemies in Five Nights at Freddy's 6. In this game, you can salvage him, or you can throw him back in the dump. If you choose to salvage him, then he will be inside the pizzeria with you and hunt you. Thank you guys so much for watching this episode. If you liked it, please let me know if you want to see more. And like, subscribe, comment down below, and share with your friends. This took a really long time to make, so please let me know down in the comments if you'd like to see more, and if you enjoyed the video. My name is FNAF Central, and I hope you all have a great day. Make sure to tune in for the next episode this week. Have a great day, guys. Bye.
End communication.